The title of my talk is actually a call for action. Let's turn what stinks today to what sticks tomorrow. But I understand this is a very difficult task. And it may take an auditorium full of inventors and maybe a nation of inventors. You can think of how many stinky things you have seen and you deal with day to day. I was born and raised in Iran in a very frugal culture where nothing was seen literally as waste. I remember how my grandma and my mom used to change old clothes and blankets to beautiful quilts, table runner, and kitchen gloves. Nothing was really waste. And you didn't have an excuse to nag if you didn't like something. You had to change it. I mean, that's up to you to make it better if you want it. So I ended up doing actually most of my education in Iran, but it was a time that I felt the need to go beyond the border and do my education in America. Land of opportunity, many voices, one nation. So here, I got my PhD in the University of Illinois, and I got married to my husband, somewhere there, yeah. And came to North Carolina, beautiful state of North Carolina. It's really beautiful, full of lakes. It hit me that North Carolina has so many lakes, more than I ever seen in Illinois. I also saw a lot of cracks and potholes all around. Even one time, our car got into one of these potholes, and the tire just went flat. It punctured it. It wasn't one of those tiny little holes that you can go like maybe 10 minutes before you had to stop. It just went immediately flat. And we were stopping outside, waiting for road assistance and cold and sort of swearing to the potholes and, why it's not fixed and so forth. And then I got into this, discussions with stakeholders and some of my colleagues, why there's so many potholes and cracks? Somebody should fix this. And then we found out the problem is actually supply of those adhesive and glue that put the rocks together to make the roads are shrinking, and their prices were skyrocketing. So road authorities couldn't keep up with maintenance and keeping the road smooth and nice. So we thought, what a waste. Can we think of some adhesive that they don't crack so often, so they don't have to fix it? And maybe they are not as expensive, so they can at least fix it when it cracks? I thought of adhesive. Well, adhesive is just a glue, and everybody deals with it. Super glue, Gorilla Glue. So glue is not scared. There are glue out there. But in this scale of roads, of course, you can use super glue to glue the rocks. And we could get a glue from spider even, but of course the spider glue would not make 4 million miles of roadway in America. So we thought, well, where we can get the source and maybe source of unlimited feedstock that is cheap and it's easy to get and so forth. So I went around the state. I was in North Carolina at the time. And I went around the state, and in North Carolina we are big in furniture and wood and biomass. We are a very green state. And it hit me, what about biomass waste? We have so much wood waste and other biomass, and we started looking at different biomass. And you might think, oh, why biomass? Well, the molecules of adhesives are just a molecule. So if you can get that molecule from wherever that resemble the same molecules that are in the glue, whether it's super glue or another glue, you can get that molecule and then synthesize it maybe to something that stick. So I started looking at many different molecules, from corn to miscanthus to grass, animal waste, anything literally was in my backyard. And I'm in North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University, so we have a lot of actually farm land and corn and other soy and stuff there. But none of them really worked. Were either too susceptible to crack, they were worse than counterpart. Some of them were actually expensive to synthesize and so forth. I could get the molecules, but they were not the performance and the property that we were looking for. We wanted crack resistant. Well, it took us several years and many, many, many trials. And finally, we got something that worked. And guess what that was? Those were the lakes that I saw when I came to North Carolina. It turned out those lakes are so stinky. We dig into them and we found that they are not really lakes, they are pools of waste. And there are millions of pig manure. We have 6 billion gallons of pig manure in America. In all these lagoons, you can fly over them and it looks like lake. It's beautiful from up there, but you can't get close to them. And there are limiting factors on pig farming. They can't grow bigger than some size because they have to manage their manure. Otherwise, they get a lot of fines for the per head, pig head. So we started getting these molecules, breaking them apart, and extracting some of the good molecules out of this lipid structure that are in the pig manure. And we got these molecules. We started simplify them and find the right one. Of course, it took several years, but we ultimately found the right one, and we synthesized them, polymerized them into an adhesive, and we called it Bioactive. And the company was formed at that time. So the technology was basically what Mother Earth does, but it does it over millions of years. We do it in 20 minutes with catalyst and the processor. We go through it. So it's quick, it's low cost, and we get the molecules. So you don't really care where the molecules come as long as you have the molecules you want to synthesize. So anyway, we got the adhesive. And then at the time we finished the project, we got into this awesome NSF I Corps program that pushed us out of our comfort zone to go talk to the customer, find if somebody care about this adhesive and want this adhesive. So we talked to many customers. We found that actually the adhesive is an adhesive, it's a glue. So yes, we wanted to fix the potholes, but you can really glue many things. You can carpet or floor or fake floors or whatever. You need glue, you can glue them together. So in terms of the road application and those potholes that we started with, we talked to stakeholders and road contractors. It actually turned out that the road contractors love to put many recycled material into the construction because it's cheaper. The more recycled material they put in, they get more saving. They managed to put 45% recycled material, they get 20% saving, which is huge in terms of roads, millions and millions of miles. So we started looking at, okay, that's pretty good. They wanted to do a lot of recycling, that's cheaper. But of course, when you get a cheaper construction, it's more prone to crack, so it cracks sooner. You get a cheaper structure, but it cracks faster. So we started treating it with bioadhesive and how it would work with our bioadhesive. We found out that if you put 45% recycled material with bioadhesive in it, it performs like you have 15% without bioadhesive. So right there, they got 30% more to put in the recycled material, and you get the same performance. So road contractor, for that reason, they loved it. We got some side benefit as well, because if you have the lagoon out there, as the manure decay, it releases methane and CO2, so it's greenhouse gases. If we convert it to this glue, we can get 90% saving in the emission. We also, if we end up using it for road, we get 60% reduction in emission there because you don't have to heat this glue as much as the other counterpart. So together, they can save the same size of Lake Tahoe, equivalent of emission per year. Another source of carbon sequestration was this side product, which is basically biochar. It's sort of a fertilizer, dry version of fertilizer, which is carbon, literally from manure to biochar. So we can give it back to farmer for fertilizing application. And then we got the patent, we got the technology, the company. Now we are 9 people in the company, keep it working and moving forward to mass produce and get it out there. We got some awards and business plan competition and so forth, a lot of media coverage. So the journey was fun, but more than that, it was really a learning experience. And to me, sort of an education. And during this all up and down and all the struggles, sometimes we forget to enjoy the learning part. But that's something we have to pay attention as we go through this journey because it's a lot of learning. But there was also the dynamics of it. Some part of the road, of course, wasn't easy. And to start, it was this funding issue. So when you go to tell the funding agency that I'm converting pig manure to adhesive, Well, initially they were, right, right, go away. So I got so many no's before I got the first yes from NSF. And then after that, I got Department of Transportation and many others to help me out. But really, the first reaction from many of them was this one. Another dynamic that played in the game was this so-called, I call it golden key, because after I got the funding from NSF, it literally took me 4 years to get a key to my research lab to do actual research. And it was like, why? So I was sitting in my office thinking, what should I do, and so forth. So the first thing hit me, what a waste. I have this funding, and I'm locked out of the lab. But you know, when there is a waste, I always thought there is an opportunity. So I thought maybe sometimes other people would think, okay, give up, and if it's locked, just go away. I thought, okay, waste, opportunity, and I went out, and I created what is today a consortium of 12 different teams. And we worked it out. We got research done in different parts of the country. We went to MIT. Some part of it was done in Illinois. Across the country, we went even to Denmark and France. We now have partners from Brazil and China. So all over, really. So it was really a waste to opportunity case for me. So I threw out so many darts, and they didn't hit the target from the beginning, from the failed proposals and not getting funding and so forth. So there were so many darts. But you may look at those darts that are not hitting the target as waste. I see it as opportunity. Because those darts that they didn't hit the target, they really were the opportunity to teach me what didn't work. And they got me one step closer to what would work. So that was another opportunity. And with this, wholeheartedly, I really believe inventors are made, not born. And I believe this is a learned attribute. Inventorship is a learned attribute, that anyone can learn it, because the journey really made me. In 2008, I was no inventor, and basically I threw darts. I had to try. So I threw darts, and I pivot. I fell so many times. I fall on my face so many times. And finally, we got to the target. So with this message, which I really believe in it, I wanted to become ambassador because I believe inventorship is a learned attribute. So with that, I will leave you with this message. Let's turn what stinks today to what sticks tomorrow. Whether it's a rotten system or a corrupt policy or whatever you can think of it as a so-called waste, a meaningless obstacle, again, a meaningless waste, it can be an opportunity. So with that, I challenge you to think of one thing that you can think of as waste or a stinky thing, to turn it to something that sticks tomorrow to make the future better for everyone.